A very warm welcome, light warriors, from once again all over the globe. So great to see where you are all dialing in from. My name is Wouter. I'm your tech host for today. If you have any technical challenges on the Zoom part, be sure to send me a direct message and I'll sort you out as soon as possible. And for today's introduction, I would love to hand it over to our beautiful host, Inken.
Thank you so much, Wouter. Hi, everyone. My name is Inken, and I'm happy to be part of the hosting team of the Light Warrior Collective. Sundays are beautiful because of you. Sundays are beautiful because of our empowerment sessions, of our mindfulness practices together with you, for you. And since more than 3 years, every Sunday at the same time, we are here for you. And we love to inspire you to raise your vibration and be your gentle reminder to take care of yourself on a regular basis. So we all know that consistency is key. And this is why I feel very proud that really since this long time, we have been showing up for you, for us, and we are coming together in this safe space of empowerment. Our sessions are unique because our guides are unique. They create really powerful meditations, mindfulness practices, inner works. So we have a large portfolio of amazing practices for all of you. And like today is another special moment for us because we have a homecomer. We have Hendrik with us. Hendrik is the youngest member of the Light Warrior Collective, and he has been a core founding member. And I would also like to say a big thank you to him because the Light Warrior Collective wouldn't be where we are at today if he wouldn't have put his heart and soul into this space, creating where we are today. And although he's a man of the world, traveling and learning and growing, I still feel him with us in spirit, and I'm super grateful that you're back today, co-creating with us and sharing your wisdom. One thing of you, Hendrik, that I feel is very special because you are a young guy, but I always felt like so interesting how much wisdom you have. You have this old soul with so much wisdom, and same time this light curiosity of flow, of really stepping out of the box. And that's for me something very inspiring, and why I always love to be around you. And I feel you are a huge contribution to our space and still a part of us. So guys, I'm very curious for today's session. I'm so happy you are back, Hendrik. Thank you for everything that you did for us and keep doing for us. Welcome home. I hand it over to you with much, much love. And I give it in your hands to take it away. Guys, open your hearts, open your minds. Today will be a powerful session, 100%.
Yeah, hello everybody, and amazing to see a lot of familiar faces again after a long time, and glad to see some new faces here as well. And thank you so much, Inken, for those words. And Wouter, just amazing to see you being in the welcoming introduction energy. And yeah, there is I think the one next to the tech, I used to be the first Zoom host of the Light Warrior Collective. One of my loves is dialogue and communication. A lot of my work is around how do we creating conditions and spaces to be in meaningful conversations. And I spend a lot of time in the leadership development and personal development. We were playing with words of describing myself up front. I would with you guys, I think these words make sense. I'm in the world of organizational healing. which has called me outside of this space, because I'm looking into how to reincorporate organizations, that they cannot be sold, and that we look at organizations as living beings. And how can we bring the full human being in relationship with each other and in our work in creating, and how do we organize ourselves? And a big part of that is also looking, like, it's the inside of the organization is the culture, and we have an inner culture as an individual, and the organization has a inside as well, and it's kind of playing, zooming into the individual, zooming out to the larger space. And a big part of that is story, and a big part of that is how are we making meaning, and how are we looking at the world, and how can we be in learning together. That's why I like to be in conversation and create spaces for conversations. And there are different threads. I love to bring some of my teachers into this space. I think the last sessions I did 2 years ago was from story work from Mary Ellis Arthur, one of my mentors. And today I'm bringing the practice and the work of a different teacher of mine, who I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting in person, but her books and audiobooks and videos on YouTube that I highly recommend to all of you are a gift. Really just the way of being in the world at this point that Byron Katie brings is amazing. It's very rare to see someone who's so conscious about the words she chooses and the way she speaks and relates with others. So I can highly recommend you checking that out. And I'm putting into the chat right now the worksheet that we're going to use, that's open source, on the website of the work, and the worksheet that kind of inspires a bit the flow of the session today. And yeah, we're going to do the work. We're going to do the work. So the invitation is to have something to write. You can download the worksheet, and it's a PDF where you can type things in if you're on your computer, or you just take your note app on your phone, or you take something to write. And if you're like a person that doesn't like to write things down, and you're here more like really to detach, then it's also totally beautifully fine to do this process in your mind, with your mind. Because what we're going to do is we're going to explore the mind. The name of the session is an interactive session. Interactive because we're going to go in the state of meditation, and we're going into silence. Like, I mean, there are different ways of meditating. The way of, like, you go into quiet and you come into the now and you focus on your breathing. Then there are the visualization exercises, or gratefulness, forgiveness meditations, like different ways of going through. And when you open the website, the work, and you hear Byron Katie speak, she says this is meditation, because we're exploring our mind, and it is a way of tapping into what's coming into presence, coming into the now, and truly seeing that all the thoughts that there are just thoughts. They're not reality. There's one of my favorite quotes from Byron Katie is like, if you want to have a problem, get a future. And of getting stuck in your thoughts of the future and the past. And how do we really arrive? What is really here right now? So the work is a meditation. It's a method to inquire, born directly out of Byron Katie's experience. She jokes that the first 30, 40 years of her life, she wasn't really in the now, and then this work came to her. And it's a practice. So this is, in that sense, people organize sessions around the world doing this work, and you can do this with your kids, you can do this with your friends, you can do this every morning you wake up. So this is really just like a gift. I don't know, it's always interesting to hear or see if you can use the raise your hand function, or just send an emoji if you are familiar with Byron Katie. If you've done this before, you know what this is, you heard it before. It would be, see, one person. And thumbs up. There's something in the chat. Yes, 2, 3. Great. So for the ones who are familiar with it, it's a practice. So always good, keep practicing. So you're just going to continue the practice. And for the rest of you, welcome to the work. In essence, we're going to do through the full flow. And it's just you by yourself. I'm just guiding you through it. But the magic in the core of it are 4 questions. And it's if you have a thought comes to you, and then the first question, is this true? Yes or no? And often our whole system comes in and says, yes, this is so true. This is so true. And then you ask again, can you absolutely know, without a doubt, that it's true? Most of the time, it ends up being a no. Actually, I cannot know that absolutely 100% that this is true. And then you go into exploring, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? Who am I? How do I show up in the world if I believe that thought? And then the last is, who or what would I be without that thought? And then there comes a little turnaround at the end to exploring alternative ways of looking at that thought, to just break the mental patterns. And that's what we want to do throughout this day. So that's it. These 4 questions, that's the work. And it's very powerful. The most simple things tend to be. So what thoughts to explore now? What examples to find? And then the easiest way usually is to just look at your life. And unless you're completely grounded and centered, and you live in the forest, away from everyone, I'm pretty sure you're meeting some people who might create some stress in you. Or you have some spouse, a kid, a colleague. Maybe there's someone who just passed you by on the street that evoked emotions in you. So is there any situation where someone else is involved? To start with this, it's always easier to start with an external person. At some point, you can also say, I look at different parts of myself. For today, my recommendation is to think of someone you have a tension with, or something is stressful with someone else. And if that still is difficult for you, maybe there's something like a part of oneself, like my thoughts, my emotions, my body. Maybe there's something concrete you can name instead of having like an inner voice. So if you have someone external, it's always the best. And I was thinking of doing this live also in parallel with you to have an example. So let's see if I can find something too. Okay. I have a colleague of mine, or a new collaborator in consulting work I have. And I'm a bit frustrated with this human being. And to explore a bit in detail, we're gonna go through a list of questions to identify the thoughts that we have in a bit more clear way. So we start first with, in this situation, who angers, confuses, hurts, saddens, or disappoints you, and why? So the example I give here is, I'm disappointed with Tim because he forgot about me. Now, my life example is, I am frustrated with, because this is recorded, I'm not going to name this person. I'm going to call this person the colleague. For you on your personal notes, I invite you to write the name, be specific. I have the person in mind. I'm frustrated with this colleague because I think he's stuck in a specific way of going about something, a big project we're on, and he doesn't allow for other perspectives to come in, and that is really frustrating me. and see what comes up for you with the person. Not overthinking it. The first thing that comes to mind tends to be the right thing. And the second one, in this situation, how do you want him, her, them to change? What do you want him, her, them to do? Like, is there any want you have? I want Tim to see that he is uncaring. I want him to stop forgetting me. Or I want my colleague to get out of his way and open his mind and be open for other perspectives and other ways of going about the strategy that we're working on. Just in case I'm too fast, I'm posting the questions in the chat. If you couldn't download the worksheet, then you have it there as well. And it's not about getting it right. It's really just showing up. What thoughts are showing up with these questions? The third, in this situation, what advice would you offer him, her, or them? He, she, they, should, shouldn't, ... So the Tim example, Tim shouldn't upset me with his behavior. He should manage his time better. Or my colleague should open his mind, get out of his own way. And right, these are my fresh thoughts. I have not prepared this. This is just what comes out of my mouth as I'm thinking of this colleague right now. Is there any advice I want to give this person? And the fourth question to explore the relationship. In order for you to be happy in this situation, what do you need him, her, or them to think, say, feel, or do? Is there anything that, like, I need this colleague to take a breath, to take a step back? I need Tim to stop putting me second. I need him to show up when it matters. I need to. What comes up? Nice. Someone is drawing. The draw function is activated. I haven't seen this before. Ah. Clear. Clear. fifth way to explore is, what do you think of him, her, them in this situation? Make a list. And this is now for your self-judgment-free list. Whatever pity or judgmental thought comes into mind, we want it to be on your paper. You're not going to show it to anyone. You don't need to speak about this with anyone. We really want to exploring our mind and see what's in our mind right now. So right here, the example, Tim is a slacker, egotistic, stupid, unreliable, inattentive. My colleague is stubborn, annoying, rigid. I said annoying already, but that's very loud in my mind right now. Unrealistic. Really feel it, whatever is there. Just let it flow on the paper. And the last question to explore our thoughts: what is it about this person and the situation that you don't even want to experience, never want to experience again? I don't ever want him to be late again. I don't want to be hurt again. I never want to work with someone who is not allowing other perspectives in the room. I don't ever want to be working with someone who doesn't respect me. I don't ever want to be neglected and not seen. So with these 6 exploration questions, there are a support system to make our thoughts visible to ourselves, right? The work itself has not begun. This is the first step of letting the thoughts that we believe show up and let them to surface. So this is a brilliant exercise to these different questions, to check oneself, because they check our wants, our complaints, our advices, our needs, our desires are checked with these questions. And now the invitation is, because we don't have super much time, but you can just use this with yourself afterwards, I would advise you to pick one for now. From all the things that you've written down, which one is the most uncomfortable of the sentences that you have written down, the thoughts that have emerged? Pick one. And this might be a bit scary. I would love to invite one person to demonstrate the work with me live on stage. And if it's not comfortable, then we're going to cut this out of the recording afterwards. I just want to make that clear, because I know that doing this live in a recording can be scary. So, but if you really feel the call to do this, then then the stage is yours as well. And if nobody wants, that's fine as well. Oh, someone raises their hand. Go Light Warriors. Dr. Gina de Bref. You need to tell me your name properly. Great.
It's French. It's de Barth.
De Barth.
I don't speak French, though. I speak Spanish.
Oh.
So,
Hola.
yes. Hola, ¿cómo estás? But English is my first language. I just
Okay. Okay,
yes.
perfect. English is the Light Warrior Collective language, so it makes sense too. Thank you for your courage to step here into the center. And
yes.
yeah. So would you be willing to share with us what's the thought you want to explore with the work? What's there?
I recently got separated, so it has to deal with separation. Yeah.
Separation. Okay. So it is with this person that you're separated from and separated with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So what's the thought that shows up when you think about this person? Like, what's the one that's most burning? Give us a bit of an idea.
Well, I have so many thoughts, so I should just pick one of the things we went through.
You can also just speak a bit. What comes up for you?
Oh, I'm just really angry and sad that he left me at that moment.
Okay.
Sure.
So he left the sentence I heard. He left you. He left me. He left me. Let's do. So is that true?
It's not 100% true.
So you would say not at 100%. So the number 2 question already, like absolutely.
Yeah,
you would say
it's not absolutely. It's absolutely not true.
Okay, great. Okay, jumping in there right away. Amazing.
Because I mean, we are trying to reconcile, but I'm still feeling sad and disappointed that he chose to leave me at that moment.
Okay, so you're trying to reconcile, and now there is you're feeling sad and disappointed because he left you in that moment.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And you established, okay, that he left you is not really true, but that's the sentence that's still with you.
Yes, yes.
So how would you react? What would happen when you believe that thought that he left you? How are you reacting? What happens?
Very sad. I'm very sad.
And what else?
And I cry. And I feel abandoned. Yeah. It triggers my abandonment issues. Which, yeah. I was told no one can really, it's not really my choice whether someone stays or goes. So I'm aware of that.
Okay. Still, there's like this that you got abandoned is coming up in you.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you be if you would let go of the thought?
Yeah.
That you got left, that you get abandoned. What would happen?
I think I would be happy because I wouldn't feel like I was abandoned. I would just be like, it would be good. It would be a relief because, yeah, because I would just be myself. It wouldn't matter if someone was with me or not with me. Yeah. So I would be
your true self.
Yeah.
Nice. How does that feel when you step into that?
That feels better. Yeah, it feels better, more whole.
Yeah. Magic. The true juice is really like seeing like, oh wow, I can choose this different thought because I'm not that thought, right? You're not that thought. It's just a thought that's there. And to play with that even more, the last part of the work is to turn it around.
Yes.
And to turn it around, we're looking at the sentence like I'm sad and I'm feel abandoned because he left me, right? Like that is the sentence I heard from you. Does it feel mostly okay? So when we turn it around, I'm just going to give a bit of example. So how this could look like, also for the recording, here's the slide, right? When you turn it around, you can change I to he, the person, to me. You can flip around the sentence upside down. You can make a don't to the opposite, and then really tune in it. So when you think about that sentence of like, okay, I'm sad and I'm abandoned because he left me, how could you turn it around?
I could say that he didn't leave me. I'm happy because he's. How could I turn that? I could say I left him.
Yeah.
I could say I left him, but yeah, that would be one thing. I could say he didn't leave me. It was what had to happen at that moment.
Yeah. How about I am sad and abandoned because I left myself?
Yes, that's it. I am sad and abandoned because I left myself. Yeah.
How does that sentence land when you look at it?
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
And I feel happy and excited because he left me.
I feel happy and excited because he left me. Well, maybe not, but
maybe not. But like, what happens to you when you tune into that thought?
It makes you feel a little bit better. It does.
A little better. Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Great. Any suggestions from people in the room? When just type it in the chat in the chat. How could that sentence be turned around? Maybe letting the wisdom of the group come in here for a moment.
Yes, please. Yes, I feel relieved because I am free. Yes, I have had that thought before. There was some relief. Yeah.
So I'm relieved because he left me.
Yeah.
Or I'm relieved because we separated.
Yes. Yeah. I can move on with my life the way I wanted it to be. It's very good. Yeah, I like that. It's very good.
I like the one Trent put there as well. Like, now I have space for the relationship to heal because we separated.
Yes, that's a good way to think. Wow, those are all very good. Everyone is really helpful. There's a lot of wisdom here.
Thank you, Gina, for stepping into here. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling much better. Yeah, it's a good perspective. It's not, it's a little more open, and my heart feels a little more open toward the situation. And I know in the end things will work out the way they need to work out, and not to force it. So,
yeah,
and it'll be good.
Continue to play with it, because we're really quickly just falling back into our thoughts, especially if there are a lot of emotions with it. These thoughts show up, and then maybe just throw it around, even if it's weird. I'm happy. Am I happy? Like, what's happening here, right? And see how that goes, and as you show up, and then you have the power to choose the thoughts, and ultimately just come back into the moment. Is it really true right now, here? Right? That's the most, with the two questions at the beginning. Is it true? And like, yes. And then the second, can you absolutely know that it's true in this moment, right now? Are you sad in this moment? And like, is that really true that you are that all the time right now? No.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
I was
So
I mean, he did say something to me, which was you can have a thought, and however long you think that thought is how long you think the thought. You can choose how long you think a thought. That makes sense.
yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this and bringing this into the
Yes,
field here.
thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. That's what we say in Arabic. We say assalamu alaikum. We're
Assalamu
saying,
alaikum.
which means, peace and blessings be with you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. You might have already done it while we had this example. Nevertheless, I would just give us all 5 minutes to quarter to the hour to just do it again with another thought that you have written down, or maybe something else showed up, and just take your time to go through it. And the most fun part is once you've done the work, the 4 questions, is to play with the turnaround and just go crazy there. Like what are things that you can flip and switch. So let's take to quarter to the hour to just be in the work ourselves with what we have on paper, and then we can hear some voices and see where everybody's at.